The Seattle Mariners have the best relief pitcher in Major League Baseball. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about an interesting topic in the world of baseball of who is the best relief pitcher in the league. Now, there are a bunch of names in Major League Baseball that could be put in the conversation of the best reliever in the sport. But in my personal opinion, and obviously I might be a little bit biased, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on why I think this, that Andres Munoz is without a doubt the best reliever in all of baseball this season. We're going to be going through Bleacher Report's list of the top relievers in baseball and see why this list might be a little bit off. And we know Bleacher Report isn't super known for their great lists, and a lot of people do have a lot of issues with their lists, and some people think that they just put these lists out there to get some engagement and get people arguing. But here is why I'm going to disagree with their list. So as you can see by the screenshot on your screen, that the relief pitchers in order are Mason Miller, Andres Munoz, Josh Hader, Robert Suarez, Hunter Gaddis, Randy Rodriguez, Luke Weaver, Reed Garrett, Kyle Finnegan, and Jeff Hoffman. Now this list obviously has names on there that make perfect sense in being in the conversation for the best reliever in the league. But having Andres Munoz at number 2 is just beyond me when you go deeper and look into the statistics in 2025. But I want to show you this quick screenshot that, as some of you may or may not know, a bunch of the Mariners creators are in a fantasy baseball league. So I went into the ESPN fantasy app and basically went to the players to see where Andres Munoz ranks from a point system, at least based on our league. So here is that screenshot, and as some of you may or may not know, every league is different in terms of how points are evaluated, and that's kind of up to the creator of the league to kind of go through that and decide, how much is a save worth, how much is a strikeout worth, how much is an out worth, etc., etc. But as you can see, based on how our league is set up, Andres Munoz has 110.46 fantasy points, while the second best is Josh Hader at 86.79. That is a huge difference when it comes to fantasy points. To give you a better sense, our league is based on, I believe, a reliever when he gets a save is a 5.99 points. So Andres Munoz is well clearing Josh Hader by about 24 points. And as you can also see on this list, who Bleacher Report ranked number 1 in terms of the best reliever in the sport, Mason Miller is down with 63.84 points. So Mason Miller, in terms of fantasy points, is ranked 11th amongst relief pitchers, while Andres Munoz is ranked 1 by a long shot. Now, while this isn't the be-all, end-all, I just wanted to show you that big difference in terms of at least how our league is structured and how much better Andres Munoz is than the rest of the competition. But just to solidify my point even further, because I know a lot of people like digging a little bit deeper into the stats, we're going to do some head-to-head based on where Bleacher Report ranked these players compared to Andres Munoz. So starting off with the man that was in front of him in Mason Miller, as you can tell by the screenshot from the head-to-head on your screen, Andres Munoz completely clears Mason Miller in terms of B-WAR. Munoz has a 1.9 and Mason Miller has a 0.2. Andres Munoz has only pitched 4.2 innings more than Mason Miller this year, but Mason Miller has a 4.5 ERA, and to my understanding, that is from one pretty big blowout outing against the Miami Marlins, but nonetheless, he still has a 4.5 ERA. Well, as we know, Andres Munoz has not given up a single earned run this season. Now, Mason Miller does have a much higher strikeout rate at 47%, but nonetheless, Andres Munoz does have less walks than Mason Miller in more innings pitched. And to be more specific, Mason Miller has given up 8 earned runs in the 16 innings he has pitched this season, while, as we know, Munoz has not given up a single one. The biggest number that stands out to me with Mason Miller's stats is his ERA+. Now, Andres Munoz does not have an ERA+, because he has not given up a run this season, so it's impossible for him to have an ERA+. But Mason Miller's is at 94 when league average ERA plus is a 100. If you're sitting at 125, you're pretty dang good. If you're sitting at 150 or higher, you're probably one of the best in the league. But Mason Miller's is only at a 94 this season, which honestly is below league average. So I kind of think Andres Munoz clears Mason Miller so far. Now moving on to the person on this list that was right below Andres Munoz, and that is Josh Hader. And in my personal opinion, Josh Hader is probably the closest argument you can have to being the best reliever in baseball behind Andres Munoz. And as you could also tell by that fantasy screenshot, Josh Hader was in second in terms of fantasy points behind Munoz. Even though it was pretty much a long shot, he was behind Munoz. Josh Hader has pitched 0.1 innings more than Andres Munoz has in 2025 so far, and Munoz has a 1.9 B-WAR and Josh Hader has a 1 B-WAR. So either way, Josh Hader has a really good B-WAR. It's just Andres Munoz still has almost double that. Honestly, these two are pretty much neck and neck in terms of things. Obviously, the fact that Munoz has not given up a single earned run makes him the best reliever in baseball automatically, in my opinion. If you're a reliever who has not given up a single earned run in the sport, that is pretty darn impressive. Josh Hader has an ERA plus of 2.35, which is outstanding. Munoz does have more saves than Josh Hader does, and Hader has one more K than he does. Andres Munoz does have a higher K percentage. Hader also has less walks and a lower walk percentage. But again, Andres Munoz has given up 5 less hits. He has given up 4 less runs. But really, besides those few statistics, I think that Josh Hader and Andres Munoz could very much be an argument for the best reliever in the sport. Again, I just think Andres Munoz giving up 0 earned runs and 20 plus innings pitched makes him the best reliever in the sport. And he also leads Major League Baseball in saves. And then going into the player that was right behind Josh Hader on this list, and that is Robert Suarez. Now, I don't really think this is much of an argument in my personal opinion. Andres Munoz has a 1.9 B WAR, while Suarez has a 0.5 B WAR. They have pitched in very similar. Munoz has 1.2 more innings pitched than Suarez. They are both tied with 15 saves. Suarez has an ERA plus of 144, which again is still pretty dang good. But Munoz does have a higher K percentage as well as a lower walk percentage. And Suarez has given up 6 earned runs this year, which again, still a really good number, but again, also 6 more than Andres Munoz has given up. So what it really comes down to is what you as a fan have decided and what makes a player better than another one. And now that for some is an ERA. A lot of people think ERA is kind of like batting average, like it really doesn't matter that much until you dive a little bit deeper down. But in my opinion, if you have thrown over 20 innings in Major League Baseball and have not given up a single earned run, as well as having 15 saves on top of it, I think that makes you in the conversation for the top 3 reliever in the sport. But again, when you do dig a little bit deeper even into the stats of someone like Mason Miller versus Andres Munoz, it is clear in my opinion that Andres Munoz clears somebody like Mason Miller. And that is not taking away from the fact that these guys are still great relievers in the sport. I just think Andres Munoz has just the factor about him when he comes into a game, you know that game is locked down. So again, my top 2 would really be Andres Munoz, then Josh Hader, just looking deeper into the numbers, as well as you saw from fantasy that wouldn't be that far-fetched of a statement. But please let me know what you guys think and who you guys think the best reliever in the sport is. Otherwise, I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.